How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. We're going to be working on the go-kart today. So we've had a pretty good cold spell here, and I got the wood burner kicking. You can hear that thing. It's going pretty good. So we're going to get the garage warmed up today, and I'm going to start working on the front end of this kart. We need to box some of the front end in, and we need to build something to hold the battery into place. So I'm working on a battery bracket right now. So I'll show you guys what I'm getting started on anyhow while it's still pretty cold in here. Okay, what I've done is I just cut out some angle iron, getting it in place here where I'm going to weld it all. And we're going to get this guy welded to the kart. And that way the battery's going to set down in there. Now we're going to make a, we're going to have a strap that'll go over top the battery to hold it into place too. So, but that's what I'm working on right now. Okay, y'all, I got a piece of cardboard here over the front end. I'm gonna attempt to reach in here and just take a marker and mark that out, and then I'll cut it to see what type of steel or plate we're gonna need to put in there. So we're just gonna go right around this thing, and if we have to do any more trimming, we will. So we want to get an idea shape of the steel that we're going to want to put in there. I know people were talking about the battery getting busted, so what I thought I'd do is maybe cover this and cover this down here, and that would keep anything from flying in there and hitting that battery. So we're going to get to cutting this cardboard out. Now I'm going to tell you guys something. When you're working on these go-karts, not every bit of this tubing is perfect. It's not all straight. I'm talking like the roll bars and the frame and stuff. It's not perfect, that's for sure. I'm not sure that it actually has to be, but I noticed even when I marked this board out here, this piece of cardboard, this piece here looks longer than that piece over there, but that might be where I welded on there, but I lined it up with their bars, so, but it'll look okay. once we get this traced out, we'll be able to take this or get it cut out. Should be able to take it and just put it on a piece of steel and cut it out, and we should have enough to cover what we need to cover here. And I do think that should work pretty good. Show you what it looks like there. That's the old 420 box. Might as well put it to use. And that worked out pretty good right there. So what we'll do is we'll lay this on a piece of metal and we'll trace it out and get it put in there. Alright guys, what I have here is a piece of aluminum. We're going to be cutting our plate of aluminum, and we got another plate here cut. This piece of aluminum, there's a little story to it. A friend of mine went and bought this big sheet of aluminum, and he needed 2 little pieces cut out of the corner. And he told me, he says, if you cut that for me, I'll give you the rest of the aluminum. And me being a metal hoarder, I wasn't going to pass up the chance to have a nice piece of aluminum. So we're going to be using this on the go-kart. We're going to make that pan in the front and the pan to go down over the front to protect the battery. So, and all I'm going to be doing is using a circular saw. I got an old blade on here. It's an old carbide blade, and we're just going to cut this guy out the best that we can. We might have to do some grinding on it, but we'll do the best we can with it. And for this, you want to make sure you're using a respirator and some good eye protection, because this stuff will go everywhere. Yeah, this stuff will fly everywhere and get in your eyes, in your hair, get in everything. Alright, as you guys can see, we just cut that with a circular saw, and we got an idea of the shape that we need. All we got to do now, grind it up. Almost, it looks perfect. Now we have to get it to stay in there. So I've actually cut a couple little tabs, and I'm going to bolt that in. I'm not going to I'm not going to permanently put anything on here in case I need to get to the battery. So I cut some little chunks of metal, and I'll go on the inside and weld these, a couple on each side. I think that'll be fine. Probably only need about 3. One there, and one there. that would probably do it. It's not going to take much to hold this on. So I'm going to go clean these guys up and get them ready to put on. Okay, we got our pan mounted on there. I just put 3/4 inch bolts in there. I think that is going to work pretty good. So now we're going to start working on this piece down through here. As you can see, I took the shocks and the headlights off because I didn't want a bunch of sparks flying all over them. But we're going to work on this pan, this plate going down through the front here. That's going to be next. So we're going to have to take this back off just to get us room to get back down in there. So I think it's going to look good. Alright, I got the other piece of metal. I stuck it in my brake over there. I have a 36-inch Clark brake. I think that's what it is, called a Clark. And I stuck it in there and bent it. This is 1/8 aluminum. That brake don't work on real big stuff, but it does work good. And we're going to go ahead and get these two. I made a couple little guys right here, just something to weld this on so I can bolt this piece of aluminum on. So just a little couple brackets. So we're going to go ahead and get these lined up where they need to be and tack these two guys into place. That should do pretty good, holding this thing from getting anything up in there and busting on that battery. Hopefully that'll help out a lot. So basically I just got to get these guys tacked in here, and then we'll have this front end almost done. Just we got to make a bracket for the top of the battery. We'll get that done, and then we'll have this front end all done to where we could actually start painting if we had to. Well, no, we got to cut a hole for our battery wires to go through this plate up here. So yeah, we got a little bit more to do, but we're going to go ahead and get these little guys welded in. Now we're just going to put this on here just to see what it looks like, and then we'll take it all back apart, primer everything, but I think everything's going to bolt up just fine on here. So that should protect our battery in the front. And this plate up here should protect our battery from the top. And hopefully it'll give a little bit more support with that on there. So if we do get hit in the front, hopefully it won't bust that battery. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and primer this because I think we're done with the welding up here. We'll get it primered up and get ready to make the bracket for the battery case. So we want to make a bracket to bolt this down to make sure the battery don't move around in there. So that's going to be our next thing. We're just going to heat this guy up right here at the vise and give it a bend. I need about 7.5 inches to go over top of that battery. I'm going to try to get that in about a 90-degree angle there. Then we're going to go ahead and measure out what we need across the top of the battery and then measure down. Okay, I think we got it there. Okay, I went ahead and cut that off, both of them the same size. And this is how it's going to fit over the battery. It's going to fit over just like that. We got plenty out the bottom, and I tried 2 nuts on it and it worked fine. So there's one more thing I want to do to this little guy here. Okay, now to keep this metal bar from hitting the battery terminals, I put a piece of plastic on there. And what I did is I just cut it down the middle and slid it over top of it. Just cut it all the way down. And then I'm going to take a piece of this black. This is to cover your wiring. I'm going to turn this thing over where the cut is on the top here. Then I'm going to put this cut down over top of that cut, and should hold this together pretty good. Might have to get some zip ties. I'm having a hard time finding my zip ties. I don't know where they're at, but basically what this will look like. Get this all together here. Now, with a couple little zip ties on there, we won't have to worry about that hitting the battery. That should be pretty good, but I need a couple zip ties. They're here somewhere, and just finding them is a problem. So, we basically got our battery box or shelf, whatever you want to call there. We got both of our plates of aluminum cut for the front. I think now, basically, I just got to get this thing primered up and get onto something else here. I think we got to do the wiring for this to get the wiring through the firewall there. Alright, we got the front end all back together now, and I do say so, it looks pretty nice. And I think that should give me some good protection around that battery to keep sticks from going up in there and busting it. I think it turned out pretty good. Now, our next step, we're going to be getting it wired up. We got to get some of that wiring in there. We got to hook up the motor. I haven't even started the motor yet. The motor's only got a 3-year warranty on, or a 3-month warranty. It was 90 days. And I haven't even got to hear it run, so I don't even know if that motor runs yet. But in the next video, we're going to be hooking up that battery, getting the wires, figuring out how we're going to run them wires back there, and what we're going to do with them. And we're just going to keep on going here. Well, I know I'm a little bit slow at getting this thing done, but I am getting it done. It's taken some time, but it has been cold. So try not to make too many excuses, but I do need to get some wiring back here, get the gas tank on, because the motor hasn't even been fired up. It only had 90-day warranty on it, and I don't even know if it runs yet. And so anyhow, we're going to get her done. I'd like to tell Go Power Sports, thanks for all the parts they sent me. Appreciate it. I will leave a link down at the bottom, guys, to gopowersports.com. So you guys can go in there and check out all the good quality parts that they have. And I'd like to tell everybody thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment if you'd like. Till next time.